So why don't we start on our backs today? Instead of child's pose, we'll just start on our backs. And you can have a couple things that you can do with your feet. You can either have your feet together with your knees falling away from each other, and you can place a hand over the heart, maybe a hand over the belly, or even both hands on your belly. And if that's not comfortable for whatever reason, you can also, oh, and by the way, if you have blocks, you can also put them underneath your knees. But some people would prefer to keep the knees bent, and so the other option is to keep the knees bent, have your knees sort of knocking against each other with the feet wider. And that's another type, because it just depends. Everybody's different, and this one is a little easier on the low back, so some people prefer how this feels. And then another option, if you'd like, is to put something underneath your knees, like a bolster or a rolled up blanket or something like that. So for now, we're just going to tune into the body and just start to notice your breath. If you have a hand or two on your belly, you might even notice the way the belly rises and falls as you breathe. Just noticing for now. And then let's see if we can start to deepen the breath a little bit. So you'll notice your belly will rise a little bit more and fall a little more. Let's see how that goes. And start to, bring awareness to that, and then also make it a habit to continue breathing that way. And of course, I'll keep reminding you, but let's see if we can start to set the full deep breaths. And also, if possible, let's also see if we can start to extend the exhalations a little bit so that they're longer than the inhalations. And again, just think about directing the breath to come all the way down into the diaphragm area. Notice the way your body feels on the mat. Notice all the points of contact. And then let's start to wake up the body, but since we're on our back, we're going to start on our back. So if you have your feet in with the knees apart, bring the knees back together again. Have both feet flat on the mat with the knees bent. And then have the feet walk the feet away from you. So there's about 1.5 to 2 feet between your feet and your hips. And let the knees and the legs be about hips width apart. Actually a little wider. We'll take the feet a little wider. And then we'll rock the knees back and forth a few times. Just get that low back moving. You might even get a little pop or two here. And then let's pause in the center. Bring the feet a little closer together, and then bring the feet closer to your hips again. So we'll start with a bridge flow. As we inhale, we'll press the hips up off the mat and take the arms up and overhead. And then as you exhale, start to lower the spine back down onto the mat and see if you can go slow so it's just one vertebrae at a time and the arms come back up and over again. We'll continue to do a few rounds of this so that you can go at your own pace and synchronize your breath with your movement. So every inhale is pressing the hips up into bridge. The arms reach up and over. And then as we exhale, simply lowering the vertebrae again, one at a time. And you'll notice as you get to the lower half of the spine, in order to keep feeling every vertebrae, you'll have to tuck the pelvis just slightly as you come down. And that's by design. That's to strengthen the lower abdominal muscles. And then from here, we'll do 2 more full rounds. And at the end of the second round, we'll stay on our back with the hands by our sides. And then from here, we'll reach the arms up towards the ceiling. And then reach up further so it feels like you're really pulling your shoulders off the mat. Full deep breaths. And then slowly lower again. And then bring your hands together and roll up halfway and bring your hands in between your thighs. Full deep breaths here. On your third exhale, release back down. And then bring your left knee in towards the chest. You can even clasp your hands around the shin and just bring it in towards your chest. And then extend the right leg forward. From here, with your left hand on your left shin, we're going to take the leg out a little so it feels like we're trying to get our knee into our armpit. So you're bringing it in towards the chest and then out a little bit towards the ribs, right? And then the upper body, we're going to reach up. Right hand reaches forward towards the right leg. So it's parallel with your body, and you're going to take the right leg up off the mat. Full deep breaths. On your next exhale, lower the upper body, release the left leg. We'll switch sides. So we'll bring that right leg in towards the chest. You can clasp your hands around the shin, extend the left leg. A couple of breaths here. And then from here, we'll take the right hand to the right shin and just pull that knee in towards the chest and then towards the armpit. And then we'll lift the upper body. We'll reach up, let the left leg float in front of us and reach towards it with the left hand. Then slowly release and bring everything back to the mat. Keep both knees bent with the feet on the floor. We're going to bring that right leg in again, and this time straighten the right leg, and you can clasp your hands behind the right thigh. Bring the right leg towards straight so that it's pointing up towards the ceiling. Now from here, if you have a strap, you can use the strap. But if you don't, not a big deal. You can just stay where you're at. And if you have hamstrings that are a little bit on the tight side, you can actually press the ball of the foot towards the ceiling so it feels like you're wearing a high-heeled shoe. And if you have more flexibility, you can press the heel of the right foot towards the ceiling. So that depends on your body and what it's ready and willing to do. So we're pulling, if you have the strap, you're pulling down on the leg, but you're also pressing the leg forward. This creates an oppositional force. It's actually really good for your bones, believe it or not. From here, extend the left leg again, keeping the right leg up towards the ceiling. If you don't have a strap, you can bend your knee and reach up and grab your foot and keep the knee bent. And if you have the strap, we're just going to take the right leg out to the side. So we're all taking the right leg out to the side, but how you hold the leg is up to you depending on whether you have a strap or not. And that knee can be bent any amount. Your left hand can rest on top of the left hip if you'd like, if you feel like your body is maybe rocking over a little bit. Remember to breathe. Full and deep. Then slowly lift the leg back up towards center. And then continue over to the left a little bit. That could be really intense on the outer hip. So only go as far as you can comfortably go. It's nice to get in there anyway. And then we'll bring that right leg back to center. Release everything, bend both knees, bring both feet flat to the mat. Beautiful. We're going to switch sides, so we'll bring that left knee in towards the chest briefly. And then we'll clasp the hands on the back of the thigh, or you can grab your strap if you have one, whatever works for you. And that right leg will come straight. And we'll do the same on this side. So we're going to bring the left leg towards straight. So of course that means the knee can be bent, right? And if you have tighter hamstrings like me, then you can press the ball of the foot towards the ceiling as you pull your thigh in towards your chest. Full deep breaths. The right foot can stay flexed. And now from here, whether you have the strap or not, if you need to bend your knee or not, we're going to take the left leg out to the side. Right hand can rest on the right hip if you need it to. And breathe. Could always put a block underneath the left shin if you'd like. Up to you. On your next inhale, we'll go ahead and bring that left leg back up to center. And then see if we can take the left leg a little further so that it's over to the right. And again, this can definitely be intense, so take your time and be generous with yourself. Full deep breaths. then slowly release the left leg back to center. Release the strap or whatever you have, and then bring both knees into the chest. Rock side to side a few times. And then we're going to rock back and forth a few times, just enough so that we can rock up to sitting. So feel free to take a few rocks or just come right up. Up to you. From here, we're going to keep the feet flat on the mat. Bring the hands behind us. We're going to press into what we call a reverse tabletop. So you're actually going to press the pelvis up again. Now, if it's okay on your neck, you can let your head hang back. I prefer not to. I like to keep my chin tucked. Full deep breaths. Then slowly release. Come back to the mat. Bring your hands to the back of the thighs. And then we'll take the legs up. Now you can stay here and breathe. Just be here, enjoy the pose, or if you want to take a few other options or steps, you can try letting go of your hands. But make sure that we don't hunch at all. We want to keep the back straight as best we can. If you want to try maybe straightening the legs, you can try that too. If you try it and you don't like it, you can bring them back in. Try any of these options. Full deep breaths. Any trembling that happens is good. That's the muscles engaging. And then release. We'll take a couple breaths here. And then we'll come up one more time. So we'll start with the hands behind the thighs. And again, we'll take it in stages. So wherever you're at is wherever you're at, and whichever options you want to take. Full deep breaths. I always laugh at the trembling belly, but then it trembles more. Okay, release. Full deep breaths. Let that go. Let's cross and come over to hands and knees. If you want to put something under your knees, feel free. If you need any extra padding. Okay, let's take that right leg back and up. We're going to start with our heat building balance pose. So find your balance here, get comfortable, and then go ahead and take that left hand forward. Full deep breaths. If this feels really easy, you can bend the right knee, reach back, take the ankle or foot, and lift up towards the ceiling. It's just an option, of course. Then go ahead and release. Continue to reach forward with the left arm. 3 more breaths here. That right leg stays up too. And then slowly release. We'll take a full inhale and exhale here. And then reach back with the left leg and forward with the right arm. Find your balance, get comfortable. If this feels good and challenging here, we'll stay here and breathe. If you want to take it a little further, you can bend the left knee, reach back, take the ankle or foot, and lift up towards the ceiling. Full deep breaths. And then release the leg. If you did take it up, reach forward with the right arm. Keep the back leg up. 3 more breaths. seconds. Slowly release. And then we'll curl the toes under and press back into downward facing dog. Now if you want to take a minute to settle into your down dog, go ahead and do that. You can bend one knee, press the opposite heel down, maybe go back and forth a couple of times. And then we'll inhale and come forward into plank. Take 3 breaths here. And your next exhale, press back into downward dog. Now lift the heels up and let them fall over to the left. And then take the heels back up to center. And let them fall over to the right. And then bring the heels back to center and then back down to the mat. Let's take the right leg back and up, bend the knee, open up the hip. And then square the hips again. And exhale the right knee to the right elbow. Inhale that leg back up. Bend the knee and exhale to the left elbow. Inhale the leg back up. And then exhale the knee underneath. Let the knee touch your nose. And then bring the right foot through and have it land next to the right hand. Lower the back leg, point the toes. Inhale the arms up overhead. Lean back a little. And then we'll come back to center, bring the right hand to your hip. We'll cross the left elbow to the outside of the thigh. Stay here and breathe, bring your hands together, or curl the toes under and straighten the back leg. Lower the back leg if you took it up, and then we'll turn towards the front. Bring your hands to the mat, and we're going to kick that right leg back into downward facing dog. Go ahead and take the left leg back up, bend the knee, open up the hip. And then we'll square the hips again and exhale the left knee to the left elbow. Inhale back up, bend the knee and exhale to the right elbow. Inhale back up. Exhale knee to nose. And then we'll bring the left foot through to land next to the left hand. Lower the back leg, point the toes. Inhale the arms up overhead. Even leaning back a little like a crescent. Full deep breaths. Go ahead and lower the left arm. We're going to bring the right elbow to the outside of the left thigh. Hands together. And then you can curl the toes under and straighten the back leg. Go ahead and lower the back leg again. Turn towards the front. Bring your hands to the mat, and we'll come back into downward facing dog again. This time, let's walk the feet forward towards the hands. Keep the feet about hips width apart. Soften the knees, actually bend the knees. And then let the upper body fold forward into a ragdoll. In your ragdoll, the more you keep the knees bent, the more relaxing it is for the upper back. So you really want to explore how the weight shifts also. So we're going to shake the head yes and no. Just making sure we're staying nice and loose. You can shift the weight from one foot to the other, or even from the front of the foot to the back of the foot. Notice how the upper body just feels light and swinging. And then from here, bring your hands to touch the mat, and then bring the feet closer together so that the feet are touching. And then from here, with the knees bent, simply pull the arms forward and up, or swing the arms forward and up. Sorry, I was looking for the right word. We're going to come right into chair pose. Keep the knees bent. Beautiful. And then bring your hands together in front of the heart. And then we're going to do a chair twist. We're going to bring the right elbow to the outside of the left thigh. Full deep breaths here. On your next inhale, we'll bring the hands through the center and up. And then exhale, bring them right back down again. Take the left elbow to the outer right thigh. One more inhale through center, reaching up, straighten the legs all the way up to standing. Exhale, hands into namaste. And then release your hands by your sides into Tadasana. From here, let's take the feet about hips width apart again. And we'll inhale one more time. Take the left wrist with the right hand, and let's lean over to the right. Keep the knees soft here. Press the feet into the mat. Then let's inhale back to center. Take the right wrist and lean over to the left. Inhale back to center one more time. Exhale again into namaste. Come to the top of your mat. We'll just do a couple of sun salutations. I'm not the biggest fan of sun salutations, so we're just going to do a couple. They're tough on the shoulders. I don't feel like we need to kill ourselves, right? Let's inhale the arms up overhead. Exhale, fold forward, hinging at the hips. Inhale, halfway up. Exhale, take the left leg back. Knee comes to the floor, point the toes. Once again, we'll inhale the arms up overhead. And then exhale and forward. Bring that right leg back. So now we're in high push-up. Now you can bring knees down first or keep straight legs. We're going to come forward a little bit, lower all the way down. Point the toes. Inhale, upward facing, sorry, downward, yeah, upward. Upward facing dog. Exhale into downward facing dog. Take a couple breaths here. We'll do 3 breaths. And then from here, we'll inhale as we bend the knees, look forward. And then exhale, step forward on the mat. Inhale halfway up. Exhale, fold. Inhale all the way up to standing. Exhale, hands in front of the heart. And again, inhale, arms up overhead. Exhale, fold. Inhale halfway. Exhale, right leg pops back, lower the knee, point the toes. Inhale, arms up and over. Exhaling, bringing the hands back to the mat. And then this time we're going to bring that right leg to meet the left. Inhale, halfway up. Exhale, fold. Inhale all the way up to standing. Exhale, hands by your sides and into namaste. We'll do that whole thing one more time. We'll inhale the arms up overhead. Exhale, fold. Inhale halfway. Exhale, left leg shoots back. Lower the leg, point the toes. Inhale the arms up overhead. Exhale, bring the hands to the mat, and we'll kick the right leg back, come into push-up. And again, knees can come down first, or either way, we'll come all the way down, point the toes again, and then inhale, your next inhale into upward facing dog. And then exhale back into downward facing dog. Take 3 breaths here. And then on your next inhale, bend the knees, look forward. And then exhale, hop, skip, or jump to the front of the mat. Inhale halfway up. Exhale, fold. Inhale all the way up to standing. Exhale into namaste. And then another inhale, arms up overhead. Exhale, fold again. Inhale halfway. Exhale, plant the hands, take the right leg back, lower the back leg, point the toes, and inhale the arms forward and up. Next exhale, we'll bring the hands back to the mat, and this time we'll bring the right leg back to the front. Inhale halfway up. Exhale, fold. And then inhale all the way up. Exhale into namaste. Awesome. See, that wasn't the worst thing, right? We made it. Let's take the legs wide. And then from here, let's come right into Warrior 2. It's one of my favorites. So we're going to take the right leg out, bring that left foot in a little bit, bend the front leg, get your knee above your ankle, and then we'll reach the arms in opposite directions. And your gaze can be past the middle finger of the right hand. Make sure you can still see your big toe. Full deep breaths. On your next inhale, let's windmill the arms back into crescent. And then inhale up and over again. And this time we're going to come into side angle. So we're going to bring the forearm to the top of the thigh, and that back arm is going to come down and up and around. It's actually just a better way to move that's safer for the shoulder joint. So the left arm is right up alongside your ear. Your gaze can either be up towards the sky, straight ahead, or even down. And then one more inhale, we'll press up and over that, straighten that front leg. And then we're gonna come forward a little bit and come into our triangle. Now, just as a reminder, triangle doesn't have to be like all the way down. You can do a half triangle or a 3/4. I like to bring my hand to the inside of my shin sometimes. It's actually a little more challenging on the abdominals too, because you're not leaning any weight on anything. So just something to keep in mind. Full deep breaths. Next inhale, we'll press up and over again, keeping the legs straight, and then turn the feet in. So the toes are just a little bit in, almost like parentheses. We'll clasp the hands behind the back. Inhale, straighten the arms, lift the chest. Exhale and fold forward. The knees can be bent a little bit here. From here, bring your clasped hands to your low back, and then release your hands to your waist, bend your knees, and press up to standing. Beautiful. Now let's take the left foot out, bring the right foot in a little bit, and we'll come back into Warrior Two on the other side. So again, just checking in with your alignment, see if we can get that knee to be above the ankle. Make sure you can still see your big toe. Press into the outer edge of the back foot and notice what changes. For me, I notice that it shifts the weight a little bit, so I don't feel like all the weight is on my front leg. On your next inhale, we'll windmill the arms back into crescent. And then inhale the arms up and around again, and then we'll bring the forearm to the top of the left thigh, and that right arm is going to come right down and up and around over the head, right alongside the ear. Gaze can be up at the ceiling or straight ahead or looking down, depending on how it feels on your neck. Full deep breaths. Beautiful. And then we'll inhale, come all the way up and around again. Straighten the front leg. Come forward a little bit and come into your triangle. Whether you do a half triangle to the inner thigh or even the inner shin, or if you choose and you want to come all the way down, that's fine too. Same thing with the neck here, right? Gaze can always be up towards the sky, straight ahead or down, depending on how it feels on your neck. And then we'll press up as we inhale. We'll come up and around one more time. Turn the feet towards the center. This time we're going to bring the feet in a little bit. Okay. And then the arms can be up by our, the arms can be up overhead. We're going to fold forward one more time. So this will be a twisty fold. I don't know what to call it. But the right arm is going to come to the outer left shin or ankle. You're going to fold forward, let the head hang down. The left hand is going to walk forward and over to the right. So it'll increase the twist. And your head will kind of be dangling underneath your left arm. And we'll slowly release the twist and come back to the other side. So the left hand will be on the outer right shin or ankle, and then fold forward, and the right arm, you can walk it forward. You can also walk it over to the left a little bit if you want to increase the twist. Slowly release, bring everything back to center, and again, bend the knees, bring your hands to your waist, and we'll just come right up to standing. Awesome. So go ahead and walk the feet in, and we'll turn towards the front of the mat again. From here, we're going to take, you can be in the middle of your mat actually, we're going to take a step back with the right leg, and then you can bring your hands behind your back, either into prayer position, or you can just grab opposite elbows. Now your feet are going to stay on track, so they'll be hips width apart before you step back. So you want to keep some space in between them so that we can fold forward into pyramid pose. Okay, and that front knee can be bent any amount. And then when you find your balance and you're comfortable, go ahead and fold forward. Now press both feet into the mat to come back up. Beautiful. And then we'll release the arms, bend the front knee. We're going to come into a high lunge. You can shift the space between the legs, whatever you need to do. Okay, here comes the fun part. This is a little tricky, but I think you're going to like it because I've been playing around with this and it's been going really well. So what we're going to do, we're going to kick off the back leg and come into a standing split. From your standing split, now if you need blocks and stuff, feel free to have them nearby. So a standing split really doesn't hardly ever look like a standing split. So don't worry about that, because like my leg does not go up very high, and that's not a problem. But you're going to bring the left hand in a little bit closer to center, right? From your standing split, you're going to lower the leg a little. You're going to bring your right hand to your right hip. What you're going to do next is stack your right hip over your left. Then, when you're ready, if you feel steady enough, then you can take the right arm up towards the ceiling. And now you are in half moon. And your gaze can move to the wall on your right. Now the stacking of the hips part is the most important so that you'll feel steady. And then to come out, we're going to turn back to the front again, bring both hands back to the mat. Bring the right foot down, but take the right leg back a little and we'll stay in a forward fold. Release the head and the neck. From here, we're going to bring the right foot back to meet the left. And then we'll simply inhale the arms up overhead. And exhale back into Namaste. Bend both knees. Cross the right leg over the left. Keep the knees bent, and we're going to start to sit back. Take your time. Then slowly, we'll start to come up, which is always a little harder, and then release. You can shake that out. How did that feel? How did you like the half moon? It is hard. I find that doing the setup with the split seems to make it a little bit more accessible. Another idea too, and like I said, you can grab a block, but if you have the block ready, right, when we first come down into the split, for example, you can actually have the block for your hand so that you can take the right hand and bring it up here. It makes it a little bit easier. And you know, everybody's arms are different lengths too. So for some people, it's just more accessible to use the block. You're bringing the floor a little closer to yourself. So we'll stay where we are and we'll do the other side. So again, the feet are just a normal hips width apart. This time we walk the left leg back and bring your hands behind your back. We'll start with pyramid again. So we inhale up and then fold forward as we exhale. Find your balance and then come into your fold. Then to come up safely, we're going to press both feet into the mat and simply press up. Take the arms from behind your back and swing them forward and up. And I like to take a step forward a little bit before I come into this high lunge. Full deep breaths. Then we're going to do this on the other side. So we're going to come forward, kick the back leg into a split, a standing split. Bring the right hand in a little bit. You can keep the hand flat or the fingers tented. Left hand comes to the left hip, stack the hip. Find your balance, get steady. Now from here, you can actually stay here and this can be your pose. You don't have to go all the way up if you're not feeling safe or if you're a little wobbly, it's up to you. But if you do get to stack the hips, then you can go ahead and try taking the left arm up and the gaze moves over to the wall on your left. Full deep breaths. And then to release, we're going to turn back towards the front and then bring that left foot back and simply inhale the arms up to standing. Exhale into namaste. Bend the knees. Press the hips back as if we're coming into chair pose and then cross the left foot over the right. And come into that balance pose. Full deep breaths, take your time. One side, of course, will probably feel different than the other. It's okay if you're wobbly. I'm super wobbly today. And then we'll slowly start to come back up. Give that a little shake. Awesome. And then let's just come right down to sit on the floor. If you want to sit on a blanket, you can. Sometimes it's nice to just to elevate the hips a little bit. We'll take the legs in front. You can also roll up another blanket for underneath your knees if you'd like. Do I have another one? I'll take this thing. I have stuff all over the place. I just reach behind me and there's like 8,000 props or whatever. And then we'll flex the feet. Is that your bolster? And then we'll inhale the arms up. Exhale, fold forward, hinging at the hips. Full deep breaths. And then slowly we'll make our way back up. You can actually just walk the hands back. From here, cross the right leg over the left. And then we'll hug the knee with the left arm, twist over to the right. Lift the chest a little as you inhale, twist as you exhale. Keep the left foot flexed. Full deep breaths. On your next exhale, we'll slowly start to make our way back to the front. Uncross, and then we'll cross the other side. So we'll hug the knee with the right arm, twist and look over the left shoulder. Keep the right foot flexed. Lift the chest as you inhale, twist as you exhale. And on your next exhale, we'll make our way back to the front. And let's bring the feet together and let the knees fall out to the sides. And now at first we'll have a straight back. We'll kind of hold on to our ankles. You can tuck the chin and elongate the spine. And then bring your hands to your feet and open up the feet. In other words, take the feet apart like you're opening a book. Notice what happens to your knees. Notice how the groin muscles just kind of relax a little bit. Then we'll go ahead and release. Bring the knees back up, and we're going to come onto our backs again. From here, bring the right ankle to the upper left thigh. And then we'll bring both legs in towards the chest. You can clasp your hands behind the left thigh. Keep both feet flexed. We're going to nice hip stretch here. Full deep breaths. If you're able to come in a decent amount, if your right elbow is on the inner right thigh, you can also try pressing the thigh away from you as you pull the left leg in. That will increase some of the stretch in the piriformis muscle. And then release this grip, but not all the way. What I'm going to have you do next is cross the right leg further over. So it's like you're sitting cross-legged. And then you can reach down and grab the shins or the ankles and lift up and in towards the chest as if you're holding handlebars on a bicycle, old school bicycle. Notice where you're feeling that. It might be intense, and if it is, just let up a little bit. And then slowly release, uncross the legs. This time we'll bring the left ankle to the top of the right thigh. And then we'll bring that right thigh in towards the chest, clasp the hands behind the thigh. And then on this side, same thing. If your left elbow can reach your left inner thigh, you can try pressing the thigh away from you as you bring the right thigh in and keep both feet flexed. and breathe. And then go ahead and release halfway so we can cross a little bit more deeply. And then grab your shins or your ankles and bring everything in towards the chest. And you can even lift the shins up a little bit and breathe. Then go ahead and release, uncross the legs, keep both feet on the mat, keep the knees bent. Let's rock the knees back and forth, side to side, a few times. Just reset everything. And then bring your knees into your chest one more time. Actually, and then you can actually bring your left foot to the mat, just on the tippy toe, so you can press down into the mat to scoot your hips over to the left. Then bring the knee back up and let the hips gently roll over to the right. You can bring your right hand to rest on the top of the left knee so that you can keep the knees stacked one on top of the other. Left hand can be out by your side. Your gaze can be up at the ceiling or looking over the left shoulder. Then slowly release and bring your knees back to center. And then scooch the hips over to the right a little bit. Again, bring your knees in towards the chest and let them fall over to the left. You can rest your left hand on top of your knees. You can take your right arm out by your side. And again, you can gaze up towards the ceiling or over the right shoulder. Try to keep your shoulder blades on the mat. You could even put a block under your knees if you need a little extra support. Then we'll go ahead and release, bring your knees back to center. And you can either do another little rock or you can hug the knees into the chest one more time and rock that way. Up to you. And then we're going to relax and come into Shavasana. So get comfy. You can take your legs out in front if you'd like. You can put something under your knees. You can put a blanket over you. You can put a little something under your head too, whatever you need to get comfy. If you want to put socks on or a sweater, whatever works. And we'll just start to let go. Let the feet fall naturally away from each other. Allow the legs to feel heavy and relaxed. Soften, surrender, let go of the full deep breaths. Come to your natural breath. Feel your sacrum on the mat. Feel your spine on the mat. Soften the shoulder blades. Soften the belly. Soften the chest muscles on all the area around your heart. Relax the neck and jaw. Release the tongue if it's stuck to the roof of the mouth. Soften the face, soften the scalp. Soften all the muscles of the cheeks, of the forehead, around your eyes and between your eyes. Slowly we'll start to bring awareness back into the room, back into your body. You can start by taking a full deep breath, wiggling fingers and toes. You could also take the arms up overhead for a full body stretch. Bend your knees, roll over to one side. Linger here a moment before coming up to sit. Take your time. to make sitting up easier, take the opposite arm of the one that's on the mat and press into the mat to press yourself up. And we'll close out the practice. Thank you so much for coming to practice with me tonight. That was great. I haven't taught that class in a while, so that was really fun. I hope it wasn't too much. May we all continue to be happy, continue to be peaceful, continue to be free from suffering. Namaste. Thanks for coming. How do you feel?